Hey, Mr. Royal.
Hey there. So how you doing? I can't explain. Can't explain, bro. I know you.
Hi. All right. So I hope my chat and my sound is much better from earlier. Monica, and I'm going to be giving you an overview on this hiring process, this temporary independent contracting job opportunity. I don't want my sound to be crazy. So let me see. Let me look in the chat and let's see what everybody says. What do I sound like? How do I sound now? I hope it's better. I hope I'm not choppy or anything. Let's see. Somebody give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Hey, Erica. Does it sound better now? High five, high five, high five. All right. Always count on my battles out there. All right. So again, my name is Mo, and I just want to give a little overview on this temporary independent contract and hiring. I'm representing several companies, but I'm going to speak from the perspective of Community Wellness Group that actually has a brick and mortar call center actually set up here for those who cannot work at home, but who's actually in the Columbia, South Carolina area, and they would like to come to a location to work. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Savageries. High five. Thanks for listening in. Right? So point of references, if you're looking for some information on sales, if you're one of those people you're hands-on and you like to read things for yourself, well, here's a website that you can go to. It's Tri-City, VTRICITY.vpweb.com. You can go to that website and you can see the letter, the initial interest letter from CP Johnson Enterprise, as well as Community Wellness Group Call Center. And you'll be able to read about what is expected of you, what is expected of us, what's the dollar amount that you can start off at, and the actual documentation is necessary to get started. In the website where you go to register with Arise to choose your call center and sign your waivers. Right? And so that's just a point of reference. You can also email daggersquad1@gmail.com, and that would get to Janisa, and she will contact you back with the same documentation for you to get started if you are so interested. So what are we looking for? What makes up an agent? They used to call agents client support professionals, but now they're calling them agents. The website may not be updated. But what are we looking for in an agent? An agent is none other than that independent contractor who so choose to work for the virtual call center. We're looking for you to be motivated, professional, capable of providing high level of services. We want you to be very positive and optimistic, as well as punctual and dependable, right? It's nothing like doing a distant learning type work or educational, academic, going through that particular process, and you don't like to sit in one space, or you're a very outgoing person, like to move around. It just won't work for you, right? So for this job opportunity, this training to employment opportunity, you have to be someone that does not mind working alone. Okay, because it's about you and that computer or you and that phone, right? Nobody else is with you. So that's why the people who like to do it are those individuals who don't mind doing work by themselves. If you want that type of person and you like people around you, you got to be able to talk to somebody all the time, then this might not be the opportunity for you, okay? If you're someone that's never on time, always got to take off of work, got this going on, got that going on, you're just not dependable at all, you don't want to get involved with this, because once you set those hours, you have to your obligation. Okay? You don't want to get bad evaluations based on the fact that you weren't at work on time, or you don't ever show up, or you choose hours that you don't fulfill. You don't want that. Oh. So what's the first thing that goes on? Well, in actuality, the voice assessment is not the first option. What you actually have to do, you get to go in and register. Once you go in and register, and you read the agreements, the acknowledgement agreement, and the waiver, the non-compete waiver, or confidentiality waiver, you have to make sure that you read that, understand what you're getting involved in prior to you completing this process. Once you get past that and you agree, and your IBO, or your call center person accepts you in and finalizes you, you go in, you accept your email, then you have to take a voice assessment. Now, I will tell you right now, this particular voice assessment, you actually have to pay attention to that person on the phone. You have to sound enthusiastic. You have to make sure your tone and pitch is understandable. You know, like, give the feedback to the caller as if you really want to do this whole call center deal, right? So I'm going to show you, I'm going to play a little example for you to practice if you so choose to do on your own. You don't want to just take the voice assessment and you're not ready, right? That's not a good idea. You want to take the voice assessment, understanding and knowing what to expect when you get on the phone. Because if you are unsuccessful with the voice assessment, then guess what? You have to wait 90 days before you could attempt this job opportunity again.
And welcome. You have been invited to take part in an English language assessment test entitled Language IQ. We're going to spend the next couple of minutes telling you what to expect during this assessment and then walking you through the application itself. Language IQ is an online virtual voice assessment application that is designed to assess your English language proficiency, comprehension, and critical thinking skills. You will need your computer, an internet connection, and a telephone in order to complete this assessment. This assessment will be presented to you in two parts. The first part is entitled Question Building. The second part is entitled Sentence Rearrangement. 5 questions will be presented in each of these two parts, and you will need to follow the audio instructions in order to successfully complete each part. Please note that you will not be able to redo your test once it has been completed, so please try your best on your first attempt. If you are interrupted or if you hang up during the assessment, you can come back in and continue at a later date. The first part of the assessment is entitled Question Building. You will be prompted with a voice instruction such as, ask me what time the movie starts. You should respond with, what time does the movie start? The second part is entitled Sentence Rearrangement. In this part, you will be presented with several out-of-order sentence fragments such as, a 2-year warranty this laptop has. You might respond with, this laptop has a 2-year warranty. Please note that you will be presented with each question once and only once. So therefore, you should take the assessment in a quiet location, free from any interruptions, and it will normally take you about 6 to 10 minutes to complete the assessment. Good luck. Hello and welcome back. We will now spend the next few moments walking you through the Language IQ language assessment test application as you will experience it online. First, click on the link that you've been provided. You'll be taken to this introductory screen. Scroll down to the bottom of the screen to get your dial-in instructions. Make note of this 10-digit telephone number and your 6-digit PIN, as this will allow the system to recognize your access.
To begin, enter your 6-digit interview. Thank you. Please wait while I retrieve your information. Welcome to our interactive voice response system. Remember to take your time and speak naturally. First, I will read the question. Then, I will ask when you are ready to begin recording. Press 1 when you are ready to begin answering your questions. Question 1. Ask me if my computer is working. Press 1 when you are ready, then speak after the tone. When you are finished recording, press 1 to stop.
Is your computer working?
Saved. Question 2. Ask me if my cell phone works. Press 1 when you are ready, then speak after the tone. When you are finished recording, press 1 to stop.
Does your cell phone work?
Saved. Question 9. Please rearrange the following word group into a sentence. Sings, Maria, I think, beautifully. Press 1 when you are ready, then speak after the tone. When you are finished recording, press 1 to stop.
I think Maria sings beautifully.
Saved. Question 10. Please rearrange the following word group into a sentence. At the volcano, enjoyed, the company's activity, last week, my coworkers. Press 1 when you are ready, then speak after the tone. When you are finished.
My coworkers enjoyed the company activity at the volcano last week.
Saved. That was the last question. Your responses have been submitted. Goodbye.
You have now completed your Language IQ language test. Congratulations. Your results will be posted within 3 to 5 minutes. You can now close this browser window and go back to the Arise Voice Assessment instruction page. Once you're back on that page, click the Next button, and you can locate your results in one of the following 3 ways: by checking your emails, by checking your dashboard notification, or by refreshing the page by clicking the Arise logo. Thank you very much.
All right, so that's an idea of how. Oh, I'm just gonna close this thing.
Hello, everyone.
Stop it.
You have been invited to take part in it.
Let me close this out. All right, so, and that's the voice assessment. Now, people get hung up on, when they're doing a voice assessment, they get hung up on that very last question where it asks to do the sentence rearrangement. That's where they kind of get hung up. So I kind of like play it over, probably make 4 or 5 times for the client so that they can kind of grasp what they're being asked and then be able to practice and repeat it back. And I've had some really good success with practicing with this particular YouTube clip. If you fail the voice assessment, you may be able to contact the enrollment team, and depending on your situation, maybe a call came through, or maybe the call was dropped or something of that nature, be able to plead your case, and they may allow you to dispute it and give you another chance. However, once you fail, you have to wait 90 days, right? The next assessment, once you get past the voice assessment, let's say you successfully pass, then your next assessment is the program assessment, right? You need a keyboard and a monitor to be able to take the program assessments, and normally it's about 20 questions, right? It's usually open book. You can use your phone, Google, to help you out. You can phone a friend. Whatever you do, just make sure you pass it. Some program assessments allow you to take it twice, and some program assessments may only allow you to take it once. Some of it is geared towards the client that you may be servicing. Others may be general personality type questions that is job related, so to speak, right? If you are unsuccessful with the program assessment, then you have to wait 30 days before you can actually take that test again, okay? So those are the assessments. Once you've completed, you signed your waivers, you've taken your voice assessment, you got a success rate, successful pass, you've taken the program assessment, then you will have to take a background check. Nowadays, the background check is paid for by the client you're going to service. You also have to send an affidavit with a color copy of your ID card to this email address listed here, right? This could take anywhere from 48 to 72 hours to complete. And so you want to make sure that you do it within a timely manner. And you will notice when you get to this background check stage, when you hit complete and you log into your account, it will tell you have about 48 hours and you will see the clock count down. So hopefully your background checks get back in a timely manner so that you can go in, enroll, and then make your payment for your certification piece of it. ETMO tips and Sean, thanks for sharing. Now, people always ask, what are some things the background check is doing? They're looking at the national criminal history search, your name, your social verification, and your current address verification. But they also want you to keep in mind that your criminal history, only criminal convictions, or considered in a conviction does not necessarily keep you from getting hired. They want to make sure you know that. However, if you have certain charges like fraud and theft and shoplifting, you may have some hang-ups, right? I've seen through research that after 6 months, they may let you come back. You can try this process again if you fail a background check. But hey, that's the nature of the beast. And we don't know until you actually go through your background check and then it comes back. Now, sometimes you may also have to take a drug analysis, but that depends on the client that you're going to be servicing. So how do you enroll? When you first go in and you enroll for a client, let's say you go in and it's Carnival Cruise. You go in and you enroll for Carnival Cruise. You see Carnival Cruise, and then you actually select it. When you select it, it's going to ask you to view the class times. Those class times that you choose is normally in 4-hour increments. When you choose it, all the courses are in Eastern Standard Time. You have to make sure that you commit to those times and that you're going to be there, because you're going to have to do it Monday through Friday at the same time based on the duration of the certification. And each class is different. So depending on which class you choose, the time frame of the class, it could be 3 weeks. It could be everywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. It just depends on the client. So the whole enrollment process, it's going to take about 3 business days to get any feedback to determine whether or not you're a qualified client. So here's where it gets a little tough for some people. Everything is emailed. Everything is virtual. A lot of people are not used to corresponding through email. Well, if you want to work for a virtual call center, then guess what? You got to get used to checking your email. Don't give emails that you're not going to check, because the information is going to come back. Once you are successfully enrolled, you're client qualified, meaning you sign your waivers, you pass the voice assessment, you pass the program assessment, you have successfully passed your background check, and you have paid for the certification. And guess what? Then you have to make sure you're checking your email, because your instructor is going to contact you at least anywhere from 72 to 96 hours prior to class, because they're going to want to interact with you prior to you starting your first day of certification to make sure you understand and you're online with what is necessary for you to actually start this process. Okay, that's very important to know. Don't wait till the day before, call your call center and say, oh, I didn't know I didn't get that email, or I can't get in class. What am I going to do? The first thing they're going to tell you is, did you check your email? Did you do your pre-work? Were you in contact with your instructor? Certifications. Certifications is an investment opportunity. That's why I call it a training to employment job opportunity, because you have to go through training for the client that you're going to service before they actually hire you to work for them. And those certification costs, just like you go to college to get degrees, to work in a particular field, just like you go to medical school, just like you go to truck driving school or phlebotomy or CNA, these certification costs anywhere from $19 to $240, right? Most of the classes require time committed, at least 4 hours in the class and 2 hours of self-paced work 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Courses are generally last anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. Some opportunities offer fast track certification options for shorter courses, others don't. Learners must pass all course requirements, including quizzes and exams, as stated in the opportunity announcement, in order to be certified and provide the actual service. So remember, this is a training to work job opportunity, right? So you have to get the training, you have to certify in that client's program before they actually hire you on. I have to make sure I say that and make myself very clear. The dollar amount for certifications varies depending on the client you will service. Some may be $19.99, some may be $49.99, some may be $159. It just depends on who you're going to service at that time. When you register, you will see all the clients that are available. Client availability varies. You know, one day you may see 3 opportunities, next day you might see 6, next day you might see 1. These classes are offered, these certifications are offered across the United States and Canada. It's also offered to bilingual, Spanish in particularly, right? So they're open to the entire nation, not just to your location. So keep in mind, what's open at 10 a.m. in the morning may not be available at 1 p.m. So once you become it piques your interest to work as a virtual call center representative, you want to make sure that once you choose one, that you can actually fulfill that obligation. Any questions so far? So what happens during a course of certification, right? 3 to 5 days before class, remember I said you're going to get a letter from your instructor. This will have your instructor name, the course date, the time of the course, any pre-work that is assigned, not linked to the downloads, a document outlining how to access the courses in Arise Learning Center, right? You also have to complete any pre-work, meaning you have to log back on your registration, click resume on the client that you're servicing, and you should see pre-work. When you click that tab, it's going to take you to what is required prior to actually doing that class, right? Some pre is not required for all servicing clients, but if it is required, it will be available in your registration tab. Sometimes, and some clients issue additional technology. It's called an ASD, which is an Arise Secured Desktop. I can assure you, I've already gone through this with my first wave of clients, that ASD, certain computers, you have to do certain firewalls that you have to adjust your computer in order to use that ASD. But if you take your instructors pre-training, they will share with you how to actually access your ASD. So what you want to make sure in order to get a jump start on things, you want to be able to understand client through independent research, network through social media, and talk to other agents when possible. So if there's someone else you know, or maybe that you might meet in the classroom, get to know the individuals who are in your session. Form a rapport so that you can actually have some type of support while you're going through certification. And this will help you through the process. My next group of clients are going to be going through Intuit TurboTax. And so Miss Janisa is working for TurboTax right now. So they have a strong person who's working that particular client that they can bounce their information off of. So sometimes she comes in once a day. So what are some tips for certification success, right? The first tip or best practice is to ensure that the opportunity is the right fit for you, right? How do you know? You want to review all the details on your opportunity announcement. You want to talk with current servicing agents, choose the right opportunity. Don't try to just do it, right? You want to make sure that you read. Most people, they just click it, the opportunity, they don't even read it, they don't even know what it says. They forget the dates and all of that great stuff. You want to make sure you actually read the information so you can know what you're getting into. Confirm your course attendance prior to the day you start. Make sure you chose the dates that you want to work and that you actually, in the time that you chose to work, that you're actually going to obligate yourself to that time. Complete all self-paced learning. If you don't complete your self-paced learning, you won't have any questions for your instructor. And you'll just kind of be going through the motion. Then you're going to feel left out and left behind after a while. Stay engaged and participate in class. In order to participate in class, you have to have been doing your self-paced work so you can ask questions, right? Frequently communicate with your instructor in the question and answer support resources. Ask how you're doing. Make sure you follow up on some things that they're talking about, and make sure you connect with a buddy in class so that you can make sure that if you have a question and the instructor didn't really make it clear, that you can ask when time permits. All right, what are some common pitfalls? What you don't want to happen? Okay, commitment adherence is the amount of time an agent services in comparison to the intervals chosen, right? So an interval is 30 minutes. So if you choose, you have to make sure you spend at least 90% of your intervals that you can actually complete it and you're successful with it, right? So you want to make sure you're logging on 5 to 10 minutes prior to servicing the client that you have to service. You want to swap if needed. Swap allows an agent to put selected intervals that cannot be serviced into the pool. So basically, if you know you chose a time, let's say you chose 1:30 to 2 p.m. and something came up, you want to try to hurry up and make sure you can swap that with someone before you get gigged for it, right? Not being able to service the hours that you say you were going to do on time, right? You want to release if needed. Agents can be released from intervals before 48 hours lockdown period. So you want to, if you need to release that time, maybe you're not going to be able to do it. Hopefully you can find out 48 hours prior to it, and you want to release it so someone else can grab it and be able to work that particular time period. And the fourth tip is waiver requests. If you have an issue, maybe some medical issues come up that you could identify, request a waiver before you get negatively impact your performance. You know, don't just get ghost, get missing. You can't do any of the work, or you can't show up for whatever reason, and then you get dropped out of the class. You don't want that. That won't be a good look on your evaluation. All right, so it's a matrix for everything, right? And basically, you want to make sure you're meeting the requirements that's stated in your scope of your statement of work. This happens once you finish certification, then they give you a statement of work. It gives you an idea what you're going to be doing, how you're going to be doing it, when you're going to be doing it, and all the different requirements from the client. Make sure you understand your statement of work. Stay professional and make sure you're practicing good business practices. See, a lot of times many people want to work on their own. They want to work from home. They want to own their own business. But guess what? You guys have bad or poor work ethic or poor business practices. You don't want to do this. This is not just a fly-by-day type of job opportunities. This is real. This is professional. This is serious. And so if you're going to take it serious, then be serious. If not, you may not want to start if you're not going to finish. Here's the common matrix that goes on. Once you get into a service stage of things, right, this is what you're going to be graded on. Excuse me, let me drink some water. You have your commitment adherence. That means the time that you decide you're going to work, the hours that you chose to work, you have to do at least 90% of that. Average handling time when you're handling calls, you know, you want to try to be able to handle your business within 10 to 12 minutes of being on the phone, not rushing, but making sure you're servicing that client with the most highly quality service as possible. Hopefully you're able to resolve at your level and you don't have to keep passing the client along. That's called resolution, making sure you're able to mitigate the problem at your level. Customer satisfaction, you know, your personality means a lot. Your character, how you actually building with that person on the phone or making them feel comfortable about why they call, that's very important. So customer satisfaction, y'all know the rule, customers always right. Right? So just kind of keep the atmosphere as calm as possible. Documentation rate, the rate in which an agent documents the customer's issues and steps to resolution. You want to make sure you're keeping a track record, putting in notes. So if someone else had to follow up behind you, they didn't have to start all over, but they can follow your notes. It's clear, concise, and they're able to move to the next step. And your performance score. Would the customer you speak to recommend the clients to build the brand? You know, how you perform on the phone, how well you help that customer, how friendly you are will determine whether that person gonna talk bad about you or they're gonna talk good about you, they're gonna recommend you to somebody else. And that's what's important. You don't want to lose clients based on your performance on the phone. And service intervals, time servicing in half an hour increments. Service increments is 30 minutes. So most of the times when you look on a website, it's going to say intervals. It's not going to say hours, but no, it's 30 minutes. So if you do two intervals, that meant you worked 1 hour. Like any good company, there is a frequently asked questions section, and Arise has what's called AVA, and AVA is there for you. So if you have any question you want to ask, you can ask there, or what you can do is you can request for technical support, but more than likely, whatever you want to ask, it is there and the answer will show up for you. So don't neglect to use AVA, which is Arise Virtual Agent. Here are the hours. Global support, when you can contact technical support, is available 24/7, 365, right? The partner and enrollment section of the support is available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to midnight, and registration is Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So depending on your question, if you get stuck in registration, maybe you're having some difficulties, this is when you can call. If it's doing the enrollment process, meaning maybe you're doing the voice assessment or the program assessment, this is where you call. And if it's technical support, maybe you're having trouble with your ASD, or maybe your virtual classroom is not working, then of course you call technical support and they're available every day, all day, right? And so these are some of the issues you may be running into. Oh, sorry. So again, as I stated, you got your enrollment process. This is enrollment. If you're looking for live chat, you want to talk to technical support about the course, the opportunities, the voice assessment, any of your vouchers, you're looking for enrollment. If you're having issues with your certification, your VPN, your Citrix issue, client codes, Arise portal, the virtual meeting room, or your phone issues, you want to contact the certification technical support. And for Starmatic scheduling questions or releasing and swapping, you having issues, you want to call central operations. Support-wise servicing, there when you need it. And you know, that's weekly information sessions. You'll see those, you'll get those in your email. They send out weekly information sessions. There's chat support resources. There's the tier 2. That's when you have to escalate your calls. Maybe you help them as much as you could on your level, right? You got your quality assurance support resources, you got your side by side, and you got your tools. So there's so much information available for you. You're not left alone. Even though you're an independent contractor, you're not left alone. Then there's CrowdHub. It's so many resources in here. You can go, the resource centers for all, similar to electronic bulletins. You can ask a client or arise-related questions. There's no specific person to respond. Instead, it's information gathered from the entire community. Review questions that have been already asked to gain more knowledge. Announcements, incentives, urgent services, and information session calendars can be accessed as well from the CrowdHub. And you have instructions to log in, are given during certification, links found in the portal references, right? So the CrowdHub is great for sharing knowledge. Then Rise also has a knowledge zone. This is a gateway for more information and general tips. So you cannot get left behind, right? Everything you need to know is here. But guess what the key is? You must be able to read through this information. So everything I just gave you is available to you online for this training to employment opportunity. If you want to work from home, this is the requirements, right? You must have a desktop computer. You must have a phone, landline phone, telephone, and the internet, and the Ethernet connection must be connected to your modem. 2 headsets, 1 phone headset and 1 computer headset. Now, most people always say, well, why can't I start with a laptop? Well, because softwares upgrade often. And if a client upgrades his software, then that means you have to upgrade. Laptops are very difficult to upgrade. Desktops are not. And so the favor is on the desktop. And so I only advocate with the desktop, right? Got to have your phone. There's several different types of phone you can get. You got to have the Ethernet card, and there's the specs for all of this is here. And once you get into the servicing opportunity, you have to work at least 15 hours per week or 30 intervals. So the specs for the computer is here, right? So you can go through these specs. I'll leave it up on the screen a little bit, and you can see the most important deal based on what type of computer you need is right here. This is the PC, this is the Mac. This is the PC, this is the Mac. If you meet these requirements, then you can actually use it. So you don't necessarily have to ask any questions. You just need to make sure that you read the specs, because it will run a PC scan, right? Here's an example where you could purchase a phone. These are the phones. I think this is the phone Shanisa has. Mine's made a little different, but it probably costs just a little bit more dollars. But so I don't think I've seen a phone less than $34, right? Here are the specs: accessories, software, and internet and phones. The headsets is the type of headsets you have to have. This is the software. This is the internet and the phone. Pay very close attention to it, because it's a must. In order to do it and work from home, you have to have these particular specs. Once you get started, it's a real easy process if you go by what they're asking you to have. It's smooth sailing for there. I know there's a lot of people just really don't want to train. They just want to be able to just start working. But any great organization has a training program. So just keep that in mind. All right, here's an example of what a opportunity announcement looks like, right? It will give you the course duration, how long that particular certification lasts. It will let you know the class times, Monday through Friday, and there's 6 options. Not all opportunities have 6 options. Some may have 2, some may have 1. Just keep in mind, whatever you choose, you have to do it Monday through Friday at the same time for this entire duration, okay? Once you get into the servicing, meaning now you pass certification and you're ready to work, then keep in mind there may be peak hours, there may be some weekends involved, there may be some peak days. Monday through Friday, you actually choose your intervals, how often do you want to work, but you have to make sure that when you commit to that you're able to do it, unless you have to make sure you either swapping those hours out or you releasing them 48 hours in advance, because you have to service at least 90% of the intervals that you do, okay? Or it can negatively affect your evaluation. And we talked about this earlier. Commitment, the time that you choose, you have to work at least 90% of it. When you're handling calls, anywhere between 10 and 12 minutes of talk time to handle your situation. The quality of service, you got to at least be at 90% or above. The net promoter scope is an index range from -100 to 100 that measures the willingness of the customers to recommend the client's product or services to others. It is used as a proxy for gauging the customer's overall satisfaction with the client product or services and the customer's loyalty to the brand. It is typical gauge of surveying. So basically, when they ask you, would you recommend them, then you do a survey, and would you recommend their brand to someone else? You know, at the end of those calls, that's what they're talking about, right? Transfer rate, you know, you want to keep that very low. You don't want to have to transfer them. Hopefully you can mitigate that client's issue at that time. And documentation rate, you know, 95% of it, hopefully you're resolving their issues. We talked about that earlier. All right, so let me see if there's any questions. I know you're probably like, oh my gosh, all of that. Well, guess what? You want to own your own business, you want to work from home, or you want to be independent, you got to be able to go through this process, right? And you will be happy that you did, because once you get into that work style, you're setting your own schedule, it's flexible, you're going to really like that. You know, especially if you have kids, young kids, and you know, you either homeschooling or maybe you want to be able to work at home so you can keep the house in order, and when kids come home, then you have time for them. This is an actual great opportunity. But guess what? You got to be motivated. You got to be willing to sit at that computer and be in class for at least 3 to 4 weeks or 6 weeks, and then be able to sit there and take calls and be willing to help people. And you can be very, very successful in this opportunity. All right, y'all, that's my time. Don't look like I have any questions. So peace and love until next time. Or I changed my slides and I want to do it again. Have a good one. Let's see what we got going on right now. Stop sharing. Let's see what we got out there. So does anybody have any questions? I thank you guys for tuning in. If you know anyone who is looking for a job opportunity, then you can send them our way. Again, they can find more information at tricityv.vpweb.com. And it will have all of the announcement information there and all the documents necessary for you to be hired. So peace and love. I think that's my time.